Do you like to smash? I love to smash!
Some characters are very intricate. You have 10,000 ways of approaching any situation, very nuanced. That is not this build. This build is a hammer and everything else is a nail. Quick note is that we're going to be using only the 2024 Player's Handbook for this build. If that's the only book you have, then this build is very doable. Here is our character. This is where we're going to start. Nothing special. We're going to first off choose our lineage. We're going to go with an orc. The orc gives us dark vision. It also increases our mobility by allowing us to take the dash action as a bonus action, proficiency bonus times a day. When we do this, we also get a little bit of temp HP, so it increases our tankiness a bit as well. This is amazing for closing the distance, and this build really wants to close the distance, so we're happy to pick it up here. We're also going to get relentless endurance. When we would die, we have a chance of staying up and continuing the fight. Pretty excellent feature, and again, contributes to our tankiness. As for our background, we're going to be going farmer. This is going to give us some more HP, once again, contributing to our tankiness. As for our stats, we're going to start out with strength as our primary. We're going to get constitution as a secondary, wisdom as our tertiary. From there, dex, intelligence, and charisma are all our dump stats. Dex being the one we want to dump the least. As for our equipment, we are wearing heavy armor. Level 1 starts out strong. We're going to take the great weapon fighting style. Whenever we're using a heavy weapon, whenever we would roll a 1 or a 2 on our damage die, we roll a 3. This has fantastic synergy with the maul. The maul rolls 2d6. So when you roll a 1 or a 2, even if you roll 2 1s, they both become 3s. So the minimum amount of damage we can do while rolling a maul is 6 weapon damage. That's really good, really consistent. We're going to combine that with the topple weapon mastery for maul. This allows us to crumple our enemies, drop them on the floor, and then all of our follow-up attacks are going to have advantage. So we have a way to develop our own advantage. As for our second weapon mastery, I'm going to be putting it on Javelin Slow. This is purely to run people down, hit them with the javelin so it slows them down so we can get up close to smash them with our hammer. I'm not even going to be talking about other weapon masteries because these two cover it for me. I'm happy with them. Second wind increases our tankiness by healing us. We get to slot it into our bonus actions, which are for the most part going to be open, so we're pretty happy to have those here. Level 2, we're going to get Action Surge. I recommend using Action Surge when you successfully topple someone with your basic attack action. That way the whole Action Surge action has advantage on every single attack and really can put out the damage. Tactical Mind is a good out-of-combat feature, especially once we jump over to level 3 where we're going to become a champion fighter. Here we pick up Remarkable Athlete. Remarkable Athlete is going to give us advantage on athletic checks. When combined with Tactical Mind, it means that we make extremely fantastic strongmen. And strongmen can solve so many more problems just with athletics checks, breaking stuff, holding stuff up, all sorts of things. More importantly, from level 3, we're going to get advantage on our initiative checks. This is a big deal. Here is our whole game plan, and it never changes. We want to go early in combat. This helps us with that. Then we want to close the distance from our enemies. Adrenaline Rush helps us do that. Once we're there, we want to smash them, and then step 4 is smash them some more until they drop dead. We continue smashing them because we're hard to kill, and every single one of our attacks is extremely consistent damage. Even more so now because we also get improved critical. We now get criticals on a 19 and a 20, so we are getting twice the amount of criticals. This also synergizes fantastically well with the great weapon fighting style. The reason why is when we roll those 2 extra crit dice, they also get treated as 3s when you roll a 1 or 2. So the minimum crit damage you can roll for your weapon is 6 extra damage. Normally, even if you're using a great weapon like a great axe, you can roll 1 on your crit damage, and that's all it's going to give you. It feels terrible and it happens all the time. Now we have a higher consistency of crits between our extended crit range and the fact we're attacking at advantage pretty often, but we also have increased quality of crits. Every one of our crits is going to be doing at least solid damage, and we're going to be doing a lot of them. There's also one more feature on the Remarkable Athlete. Whenever we get a critical hit, we are allowed to move half our movement speed without taking a reaction attack, and this happens immediately. This synergizes extremely well with our Great Weapon Master feat that we're picking up at level 4. The reason why is the Great Master feat allows you to make an attack immediately after you crit or kill someone. So let's say we crit and kill someone. Well, immediately we need to make an attack, but there's no one around us. But because of the way stacking works is we can stack Remarkable Athlete on us, move half our movement speed, and then go attack someone again. So by having that Remarkable Athlete feature, we make our Great Weapon Master more consistent by a significant margin. That's not all Great Weapon Master is going to do for us though. It's going to also increase every single attack we do by our proficiency bonus. So now let's take a look. We are doing 6 minimum damage with our weapon damage. We, at this point, probably have a +4 in strength, so now that takes it to 10, and now we get to add our proficiency bonus on top of that. So at level 4, every single attack minimum is going to be doing at least 11 damage. That's really consistently good damage, and we're really accurate on top of it, and we make crits on top of it, extending that damage. And once you consider that we're getting bonus action attacks when we hit a crit, which we're going to do more often, so again, Champion synergizes extremely well with the Great Weapon Master feat, but also when we're killing somebody, it also gives us an extra attack. So we're going to want to position ourselves so we're in melee distance to 2 enemies as often as possible, just in case this gets procced. Level 5, we get extra attack, and extra attack is amazing for us because now we can start setting up advantage on ourselves. Beforehand, we were just knocking them over and we only had 1 attack, so we were just kind of helping out our allies. Now we can actually be getting those advantage attacks, and it gives us more action surge advantage attacks. And I've already talked about how high quality our attacks are. They're accurate and they hit hard. Even minimum damage, they're still doing really solid damage. So this means that by having just more high quality attacks, we become significantly better. Also at level 5, we get Tactical Shift. Whenever we use Second Wind, we can also just get free disengages from our enemies. This is really good defensively, can kind of be considered a worse form of Adrenaline Rush from our Orc feature. Overall, I'd say not that great. Level 6, we're bumping Strength. Strength is massive for us. It's the DC people are going to have to beat from being knocked prone. It's also going to increase our damage and our consistency of hitting, so it's good on every level. Level 7, we get a new fighting style. There's a couple options here, but I'm personally just going to go with the defense fighting style. +1 AC, we likely have plate at this level, so now we have a 19 AC. We have so many things going for us. We have excellent AC, we have high HP, we have high damage, we have high accuracy, we have a high crit rate. Like, we do a couple things extremely well. We have very few weaknesses, which I'll go over later, but for now, not many. Level 8, I'm going to start picking up feats here. I got my strength to 20. I really don't feel like Constitution is going to be getting us that much more. That's what I'd go into next. So I'm going to start taking feats. I'm going to take up the Lucky feat here. The Lucky feat is going to give us advantage on attacks that we normally can't have advantage on. Now, here are the places I would be looking to use my Lucky dice. The first attack in a turn. This is because that attack has potential to knock them prone for every single other attack. So getting them knocked prone on our first attack is ideal, and we need to hit them to make that happen. So that's the first place I'm going to be looking to use a Lucky point. The second is on saves. Defensively, if we're playing against someone who has some pretty scary saving throws they're going to throw my way, I'm going to hold on to the Lucky points for that. Level 9, we get Tactical Master. This allows us to change the weapon mastery property on the weapon we're using to either sap, push, or slow. Now, usually we're going to want to keep toppling, but once we have them toppled, well, now we can apply sap. So even if they stand up and attack, they're going to have disadvantage. Or we can apply slow, or both. We can stack them in this way. And then push is excellent. Whenever there is terrain that we can abuse, we can now knock them into that terrain. So it opens up a lot of versatility, a lot of different ways to play. What if we're facing someone who can't be knocked prone? Well, now we can play as the team's tank by giving them consistent disadvantage. It just opens up our flexibility. It's a really cool feature. We also get Indomitable, and Indomitable is just an absolutely fantastic feature. I've been talking about how well-rounded this character is. Well, now we're going to be extremely good against those big, scary saving throws. This is basically a guaranteed pass on 2 a day. That's a huge deal. Level 10, if our consistency wasn't enough, well, we increase it here. At the beginning of each of our turns, we get a Heroic Inspiration, basically a lucky point that we get to use every single turn. If I'm facing someone I want to be aggressive towards, that's the first attack. Every single turn, that's going to have advantage, which could then give every other attack after that also advantage. If we're facing someone who targets those saves, well, now we can always have one on deck. In combination with lucky and the fact that we can knock people down and smack them and get advantage ourselves, we're going to have very consistent advantage, which for a Crit Fisher build is pretty essential. Level 11, we get the extra attack. This is still fantastic, and it's even more so fantastic when you consider Action Surge. Now we knock them over, and for the next 5 attacks, we're going to have advantage on those attacks, and if any of those roll a 19 or 20, we're critting them, which gives us a bonus action attack to attack them again. Very, very brutal. Think about that. That's 7 attacks, and minimum, each of those attacks is doing 14 damage. 7 attacks, minimum 14 damage, high accuracy. Yeah, we're going to be putting out the pain. And once we hit level 20, we're going to be able to swing 8 attacks, probably at advantage. And if any of those roll a 19, 20, or an 18, well, then we made a crit and we get to do a bonus action attack. So now we get to make 9 attacks. If it's not clear, this just smashes things. I feel like the champion has always felt the most barbarian to me, and this is no different. We play just like a barbarian. We just go find something, run directly towards it, and smash it. We do so many things good. Well, what are those weaknesses I talked about beforehand? We do not have a lot of ranged options. We mitigate that by being able to use Adrenaline Rush from Orc to close the distance, but what if they're in the air? Well, our best bet is Javelin and teammates at that point. It is a big weakness of ours. So finding an item that gives us fly can be a huge, massive deal with this build. Our second weakness is we cannot deal with crowds that well. We mitigate this by having the Great Weapon Master feat, because now there's so many more people to kill, we're more likely to get a killing blow, which is going to allow us to do a bonus action attack. It mitigates, but it's still a weakness of ours. I like a build like this when I just want some good old-fashioned kick back, relax, not overthinking type D&D. Drunk D&D, we might say, or you just had a character die, you spent 10 hours putting together their whole backstory, and you got to play them in 2 sessions before they were paralyzed by a basilisk. I've never had this happen to me before. And then you have to make a brand new character, and you can't put in the energy, so you build Kevin the Orc, who is this. Yeah. No relation to anything I've ever experienced, I'm sure. But that is my build today. What are some other ideas you guys would do with your champion fighter? Do the normal YouTube thing, like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit, and I'll see you on the next one. See you, love, goodbye. Peace.